Questo è CallTehi, dove una semplice chiacchierata tra amiche può anche migliorarvi la giornata. Welcome to CallTehi, where like a easy chat with friends can change your humor. So tell us about you without saying your name, like where you're from, describe your character, and then we start.
Okay, I'm from London. I'm 24. A bit about me. I'm one of 5 kids. I'm the second oldest. Wow, I always find it so weird. What else do people want to know? Well, I'm quite chill. I enjoy hanging out with people. I like music. I like reading. I like walks. I don't know, Tehila,
Okay,
from
it's
me.
perfect.
I don't know what else to say.
No, it's perfect. I think it's like a really good describe of yourself. You're like a funny girl, a legend, as you say all the time. You're a legend. Okay, so tell us if you want, like your story. How was like your date story? Like you just got married. So do you wanna? I'm sure like with your story you can like inspire so many people that are like in this stage of finding the right person.
Okay, so I'll tell you what happened. It's actually the craziest story. And my friend texted me, I think around November time, and she was like, "Are you dating? Would you date someone from Australia? Whatever it is." And I was like, "Oh, it sounds super weird. I don't really want to date someone from Australia." She said he's coming to London in like January. So maybe you can meet him then. So I looked at the resume, right, which has like all the different information about him, where he went, who his friends are, whatever it is. And again, I got like a weird feeling. I was like, there's no way like this guy's right for me. I'd been out with like not his friends, but I'd been out with boys who'd gone to like the same yeshiva as him. And I'd also like, I know some of his friends.
Let's explain for people that doesn't know what is like yeshiva. It's like a place where like Jewish guys go after high school to like study Jewish stuff to improve, to grow. Okay, yeah. Go on.
So the yeshiva that he went to, it's like the boys there are really great, but the boys that I dated from there, I don't know, I didn't really.
Yeah, it's not like the type of.
Yeah, they're really, really cute. It's just like romantically, I wasn't interested. So I looked at the resume. I was like, anyway, there's no point to think about it now because he's coming in January, at the end of January. So I said I'd wait until then. My parents were like, maybe you should like date over Zoom, get to know him. But I said there's no point because I feel like either you get really turned off by Zoom, like they're really weird online, and you're like, oh, I don't want to go out with you. And then afterwards, it's a shame because you might actually
like it, and it's like in the other half.
Real life. Yeah, but then also, if you're spending 3 months online speaking to them, and then afterwards you might like meet them in real life and you just don't like them. So I said there was no point. It's really funny because how my friend thought of us was her friend. He was suggested her friend, right? So he called her to be like, he was roommates. Sorry, it's confusing. He was
it's a bit confusing. Okay, start again.
It's a confusing story. He was roommates with my friend's brother in yeshiva.
Okay, so you have a friend that has a brother. Okay, this brother was his roommate.
Exactly, his roommate.
Okay, got it.
Nice.
Okay.
So then after, he was suggested someone from London, one of my friend's friends. So he asked his friend, oh, do you know this girl? And his friend said, speak to my sister. She knows this girl. So he spoke to her for like 45 minutes and then just got to know who this girl is. And then afterwards, a few days later, he texted my friend being like, it didn't work out. We're not going out in the end. However, I just want to say thank you for speaking with me and like taking the time. So then after that, when she thought that he was coming to London anyway, she said, oh, if you're coming to London anyway, I've got a girl for you maybe. Right? Okay. So then afterwards.
Okay, because he had the ticket. So in the beginning, he had the ticket to come to London for meet the other girl.
Yeah, but he was anyway. He had to leave Israel anyway. He was in Israel. He had to leave for a while. So
Okay,
he was
okay, got it.
planning on, yeah, he was planning on going back to Australia. However, he thought maybe I'll just go to London for a bit and just see the place. And when he got suggested this girl, he was like, okay, great, maybe I'll come to London. My friend thought that for sure he was coming to London, and that's why she thought of him for me, because she was like, okay, he's going to be here anyway. I might as well find him someone. So all throughout this time, and it's actually really interesting because this was the time that I was going out with, I don't know, random boys were suggested for me and really not the right type for
Not your
me.
type.
And no, and so I was really already feeling very discouraged. So I was like, do you know what? I'll go out with the Australian guy. Just because, I mean, I've been out with all these other boys and nothing's working. So let's see. So I was actually in Israel for a week when he came to London, and then I met him for the first time. And I remember the day before, and I remember also speaking to my friends and saying, like, oh, there's this random Australian, I'm like going to go out with him, but I didn't really think of anything. But before the day, I remember thinking already of all the girls I'm going to set him up with. Because I thought, obviously, you have to give him a chance, and you're both going on the date, so you're hoping something might work. But I was like, it's for sure not
You're
going to
so
happen.
cute. Like most of the girls, I don't think like before they're going out with someone, they're like already thinking, okay, if
Yes.
it's not working for me, I can give to this, like he can try, you know?
Yeah, it's so funny
Yeah,
because I
well,
was just like, I was thinking of everyone who I'm going to set him up with. But I also, like, usually when I go on like a first date, I really think about what I'm wearing and I'm like, oh, very invested. And this time, obviously,
make your
I put in
hair,
effort.
nail polish.
Right, I
No.
put in a bit of effort, but I was like, okay, we'll see what it is. And it's funny as well because he'd been texting me, like, we were figuring out where to go for the first date. And also, he was texting very, like, he was a bit weird on text. And I was like, oh,
Okay.
because he's funny in real life, but when you don't know him and he texts, you know, when he's saying something funny, like, I didn't find it funny at all. He said
Now, probably
basically,
you didn't understood the jokes.
no,
Also, no.
it was awkward. I'll tell you what, I sent him like this document with all different places to date in London, right? And he sent me back. And then I sent him two other options that I like going to, places that I like going to. And he sent back to me, oh, good, you've sent me these two because I've been to all the other places. Right, he said it as a joke. But what I thought was, I didn't know if he'd come to London before or not. I didn't know who he dated. So I thought either
Okay.
he's just been out with the whole of London and been to all these places, and like I can't believe I'm going out with him now and everyone's been out with him. Or I was like, well, he thinks he hasn't been out to any of these places and he's trying to make a joke and it's not funny. So either way, I wasn't very impressed.
So wait, the first time that you saw him, do you like spoke with him about it? I was like, I didn't understand the joke or
Yeah,
no?
I was like, what were you thinking? Also, you know, when you haven't met the person yet, it's a bit
Yeah, you don't
weird.
know what
You don't want
expect.
to, yeah,
Okay.
you don't want to make it. I don't know. Either way, you didn't care. But then after also he was late and he texted me, oh, I'm in the Uber. Also, he wasn't driving in London, which I was also like, I can't believe I'm going out with this guy. He's not
No, you
driving.
went like were you like drive him like around
So
or
at the
no?
beginning, like we took Ubers, but then
Oh
yeah, I
gosh.
drove and I was like, but that was already, I already liked him then, so it was okay. But the first thing,
Wait,
so
did
I
you
got,
improve your driving since I was
sorry?
did you improve your driving or no really?
No, actually, I think it was okay. When he came back, once we were engaged, he came back to London,
Okay.
like before we got married, and that was the first drive that I did with him. Then I like crashed into something, and then
Oh my
after the
god.
crash at the back somewhere at I told him it was all his fault. So I was a good driver
Okay.
until he came along. Do you know what I mean? And sat in my car.
Yeah, yeah. For sure it was like the emotions of the situation. So,
Oh
you
yeah,
got to
you
start.
know me. I was getting very, very excited. But I walked into the Uber and it was really funny because I'd been shown a picture of him and I'll be honest with you, he's not that photogenic. Well, neither of us are very photogenic. But I was like, okay. And then after I got into the Uber and I saw him and I was like, oh, okay. It was
I
quite
think
like
it's always like that. Like the picture doesn't like really look like the real life.
exactly. But sometimes it's for bad, no? You see a picture and you're like, oh, stunning. And then you see them in real life and you're like, oh,
You're like,
is that the same person? Oh, how interesting. Is that what they
yeah.
really look like? But it was also really fun because he was speaking to the Uber driver, and the Uber driver was telling me, he was like, he's such a great guy. And it was really
Like,
funny
I
because
didn't ask your opinion.
no, I do want your opinion, Mohammed. I do. His
Yeah.
actually, yeah, he's the guy I'm married to. He actually, for the proposal, he tried to find this guy, the Uber driver from the first date. He couldn't
No.
find him, but he was like sending messages to Uber and everything because he believes it was like one of the things that really started us off. Do you know what I mean?
It's
But
so cute.
it was so fun because I'm usually the one in most of the boys that I've dated. I've been the more confident one out of them too, and I've been the one who's been like chatting to all the random people. And so it was really fun for me and like really refreshing that there was someone who was also very confident and very happy to speak to random people.
Okay, so it's like his character is similar to yours.
Yeah, we're similar in quite a few ways, but also very different. But I remember the end of the date, and we had a good date, and we actually texted my friend because she was the one who set us up, and we just like sent her an audio saying like, oh, it was really nice. But I remember afterwards being like, oh, I really hope he likes me. And then that was like when I realized like, oh, I do actually really like him. But then obviously we did date for quite a while. We dated for like 3 months. And he went home, he went to Australia for like a festival and for family celebrations and things. And then I went to Australia and then we got engaged there. And then
Oh
we
my gosh,
came back to London.
I remember when I went like for like 24 hours with a friend to London, and I was like, oh, going around. After like, I got like, no, before I was like texting you for sure. Like if I come to you, like to London for sure, like I want to see you. So you were like, yeah, no, I'm going to Australia. I was like, in my head, I didn't think about it. Like you probably go to Australia to date someone. I was like, for sure, you're going to visit, to like have fun. Such a cool experience to go to Australia. Oh my gosh. So the funny thing is that like after, like the day after, I remember I was like in Buckingham Palace, like doing like a video of like how it's stunning, and like I was like sending like the video to you to like say like, hi, I'm here, like you're not here, but like just hi. And at that moment, you sent me the message like, hey, you're like one of my friends. Like I just got engaged from someone from Australia. I was like, oh my God. I started like to scream in front of like everyone. I was like, oh my gosh, my friend, my friend. It
The king
was so
heard you.
exciting. What?
The king heard you.
For sure, for sure.
He was very unimpressed.
She was like, "Oh my gosh, Mazalto! Congratulations from the window."
Oh yeah, but it was crazy. It was also crazy that I always said, and this was before I had even heard of him. I always said I'm never going to Australia. It's so far away. There's no way. And it's so funny because I always think that like you have your own plans, and then there's that quote like man plans, God laughs, and I think it's so true.
Yeah.
All like my plans, all like the guy I was sure that I was gonna marry, like it just
Yeah, it's crazy.
doesn't happen that way.
And then everything happened like for a reason in the right time. Like it's just crazy.
It's so true. And also I see throughout it all because obviously I haven't been dating for so long, but I've been dating for like 2 years, 2.5 years, and obviously I've been engaged as well before. So it's really interesting because when you have all that time and you look back and you say, do you know what, I'm so glad that things worked out how they did. You know, and I'm so happy that I'm at this stage now, I'm married now, and I'm not married a year before or 2 years before.
Yeah.
And it's easy to look at afterwards. Like they say, hindsight is great, isn't it? Because you can look at things afterwards and say, oh, it all worked out great.
Also, like you probably are different now than like 2 years ago. You know, like you're more mature and more like, I'm not saying that like if people go engage earlier, like they're doing something wrong, but each person have like their like road in their life, and they need to follow their stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It's just everyone's got their own journey that they have to go through. And again, it's easy when you've like gone through a bit of that journey to say, oh, I'm so happy that happened to me. But when you're at that point, it's really difficult. But
yeah,
you can look back and you can be like, wow, thank God that all of that happened how it did.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have also funny stories like about like dating in general?
Oh my gosh, I've got so many. I've got the stupidest stories. I've got stories
Let's
with
go.
him, but actually, mostly like with random guys. There was one, actually, this is really funny because he heard this story from his friend. He was roommates with him in another yeshiva at another point.
Okay.
When I was dating his friend, he didn't know about it. His friend came back to yeshiva afterwards and told him this story. And when we were dating, I also told him this story, and he was like, "Oh no way." Basically, I just got a new car and I was very excited about it. And this guy, like, I'd driven around maybe a day, for a day, not even. I got it on Friday. And then after, obviously, I didn't drive it on Saturday. And then Sunday, he came to pick me up for a date. And he was like, "Oh, should we go in your car?" And I was like, "Yeah, fantastic, let's do it." He said it as a joke, but I was so excited. So I started
Okay.
driving, and then after we ended up on the motorway, and I was like, I was like, "Are we on the motorway now?" I'd never been before. I was like, "Yes." And then my car started slowing down. I was like,
Oh.
"What is going on?"
Oh
So thank
gosh.
God there was still like a hard shoulder there. So I moved onto the hard shoulder, but it just completely broke down. We had to call AA, like the recovery service. It was mad. So it
Oh my
just
gosh.
broke down, and then we had to go all the way back in the AA truck. And then he could only drop us off with the car, like at a garage of some sort. And then afterwards, my mum had to pick us up. She said she was gonna come pick us up from there, especially because
Okay.
in my community it's quite like hush hush, who's dating who, because everyone knows everyone. So
Uh-huh. Okay, like
I don't
Milan.
want
If like you
anyone
go
to
out
know.
with
Sorry.
someone, it's like Milan. Like people will see it. We're like, oh my gosh, gossip.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
everyone's talking about everyone all the time. So then after, in the end, we got an Uber back to my house. However, my car was, something had happened with the battery. But the funny thing was, my mum came back afterwards. He went to the toilet in my house. My mum came back with all my brothers, and so they were all in the house. And obviously, we didn't want. It was quite early on, so we didn't want them to know that I was dating this guy because they know this guy as well. So he's stuck in the
Mm-hmm.
toilet whilst the boys are doing whatever they're doing. I had to close all the doors, get him out. It was a great end to the crazy
To the
day. It was so,
date. Nice
but the
date.
end, but Tehila, a crazier one happened to me. I was going out with a guy, and we were out very late. It was like 2 in the morning, maybe 3 in the morning. We just parked somewhere and we were just chatting. We turned on the car and it wouldn't turn on. So it was
Okay.
3 in the morning. We tried to call the AA, we tried to call recovery service. They weren't answering. No one was coming. We tried to call, also there's like a Jewish organization as well, but they
So wait,
weren't
you have
around.
all the time problem with cars.
No, it was. But so what happened was the battery stopped working because the lights had been on all that time. So the battery stopped working, so it couldn't. It wasn't working at all. So this was 3 in the morning, and we were like, okay, we'll get an Uber home. We'll just lock the car and we'll get an Uber home. So the Uber comes. Also, we don't have any battery on our phones. He's got like 5%. I've got 15%. It's
Okay.
mad. It's classic. It's really, really
Yeah,
classic.
classic, like perfect timing.
Like, obviously, why would you have charge on your phone? And then afterwards, the Uber came and we were about to get in and we tried to lock the car and the car couldn't lock. But he was like, okay, you go in the Uber and I'll stay here because we can't leave the car by itself. But it's not locked. I was like, there's no way I'm leaving him by himself. Do you know what I mean? He's on
Yeah.
5%. There's no way. So we send the Uber back. So we were just in the car and then we realized, I don't know, in Jewish law, you can't be like a man and woman by themselves in like a secluded place. So we realized we
Okay.
can't be in the car together. It's so late at night, no one's around. So we decided we're gonna go on walks nearby. So we're just
Okay.
gonna. There's people on the road here and there. So
Yeah,
we'll stay
maybe they
off
see,
that
so
way.
it's fine. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then afterwards we'll come and check in on the car every so often. So we did that until around 6 in the morning,
My
and then
God.
we tried
So you were
six
like
in the
out
morning.
all the night.
No, it was not normal to hell. I was mad. Then we're out all night, and then afterwards we tried to call AA again. We called the Jewish company. They came in the end. At 6:30 he
Okay.
came, so we were able to go home at 7. We went home, and on the way back we saw my dad going to
gosh.
synagogue. It was hilarious. It was like 7
You
in
said,
the
"Hi,
morning.
Dad, I'm
Yeah,
back."
right? And we'd been out since like 10 at night. So it was really, really crazy. But that was another one that was just a bit mad.
Yeah. So I guess you didn't went to the second date because it was just tragic.
we went on so many dates.
Yeah, okay. At least like the awkward stuff didn't impress.
No, that was like the 4th date with him. So we went out for a while still after that.
Okay.
But yeah, there were a few like crazy stories. I'm trying to think of some. I don't know.
Grazie speciale va a Mixing Creative Studio per l'ottimo montaggio. Un grazie speciale va a Mixing Creative Studio per l'ottimo montaggio.